Yeah, when you're an IPP, they give you drug tests. You might go and get 7 or 8 drug tests a week. It all depends what screws are on, you know what I mean? So when I was in the scrubs, I used to get drug tests. These things here. Negative drug tests, yeah? When I was in the mount, you get these negative drug tests. Everything I got was negative because I didn't take drugs. When I went in prison, I got done an IPP, and I was on the smoking gear for 8 years, yeah. So when I got next, I thought, nah, mate, knock it on the head, stop it. And the only way I could stop it was work, like mopping the landings, scrubbing the landings, press ups, sit ups, never, and gagging all the time for it, yeah. But I never took it because I knew that you'd be on drug tests, and if you fail them, mate, you're in plenty of shit. It could knock you back another year, you know what I mean? So I met guys in there, right, that gagging for a puff, literally gagging for it, yeah? And they wind up turning into people that are taking the brown. And you think, why are you taking the brown, mate? Because Ray, on the green, it might take 14 to 28 days to come out your system. On the brown, it might take hours or a day, you know what I mean? So you can get on that, and they're completely out of it, you know, and they walking out of prison as a complete junkie. It's terrible, mate. It's an addict, a complete bad addict on brown. Mad, you know, and it's got to be sorted out, you know what I mean? But loads and loads and loads and loads I see in there that can't, gag you for a puff and think, nah, what's the point? Because if I get a positive down the block, could put me back a year, 2 years for my IPP, so there's no point, yeah? And if you're not on an IPP and you get done, you go down the block and lose everything, you know? You could be down there 14 days. What's the point? You know what I mean? All that shit so a lot of them go underground. Loads of them, mate. And I've seen guys crying because they've gone from that puff to chasing the brown, yeah? And they become addicted to it, and they become so addicted, it just gets hold of them, and the person that they was, they're half the person that they was in lots of ways, yeah? And it's terrible, mate. It's terrible, but it is what it is, what happens, you know? And I thought to myself, when I sort of like getting all my tests and everything was negative, you know what I mean? I thought, lovely, but I was getting guys come because, see, what they do in prison, they give you a piss test, yeah? A piss test for drugs. But if they fancy you big time, if they really fancy you and think you're being clever, they give you a blood test or take a bit of your hair. Because if they take your hair, you're in trouble, because that's really 99.9%. If that says you took it, Same with the blood test. But because the weed's a bit different, yeah, but it still can get you in a lot of trouble. And so there's geezers out there watching my podcast now, watching my video now, that are being in prison and know exactly what it is like. So give me your comments on it, about how you went about beating the system, yeah, when you was an IPP, or beating the system when you was just in there on drug tests, yeah. So bang bang rail, nice one.